Hey guys.
What's up, gang?
Thanks for jumping on. Hashtag live if you're here live, and smash that heart button. I want the rest of the group to know that this is happening. I have a really exciting guest with me today. When I actually saw him live on stage, and when they introduced him, I was like, oh my God, I need to have my people know about him. So he built the bot for ManyChat, and his name is Matthew Leitz. Leitz?
It's all right, Leitz. We're good.
And he made this incredible. He has an incredible bot building agency company, and I want him to tell you his origin story because I feel like I will not do it justice.
Yeah, I don't even know if you've ever heard it.
Probably not. I don't know. Well, anyways, go ahead and
how deep you want to go. I'm here to share whatever I can do to be of most value here. So from what I understand, if you're watching this, you're probably already a marketer, right? Mm-hmm. Which is great. So I don't think we need to go into what a chatbot is. But, you know, Kim, I appreciate, giving recognition. It was recently we did get the opportunity to build the bot for ManyChat, which I think is kind of a weird meta concept. It's like, what do you mean ManyChat builds bots? But you know, every company needs a bot. ManyChat needed a bot, and we got the honor to be able to build theirs, which was super cool. One thing I will mention is, you know, we're an agency, but I don't want to act like we do take a lot of projects.
Okay.
We're working on right now is kind of like, is pretty big. So, you know, just to kind of, you know, set aside all the, hey, we're super cool and we build awesome bots. You asked for the origin story, and what I would give is that even though, you know, bots is kind of the new thing, and the reality of it is when I got the first opportunity to speak on stage at ManyChat's conference, you know, everybody was touting me as the bot master and all this kind of stuff. And the reality of it is like I had been building bots for less than 1 year. So it doesn't really matter who's watching this or how long you've been doing it or haven't been doing it. The good news is it's so new that getting started today, or even if you've tried, restarting today is really perfect timing. Because when I think a lot of times when people come to me and talk about bots, it's like their perception is, well, bots have been around for, you know, they've been around for a couple of years now, what, like 2-3 years, something like that?
I don't know how many years.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while, but you know, the reality of it is even though they've been around for a while, it's taken a lot longer for bots to really get traction. So I think what happened was we kind of went through this hype cycle with a lot of things, right? So when bots hit the market, it was like, it was all you heard about at all the marketing conventions was like bots, bots, bots. Like bots are taking over.
Bots.
So, I was like, when I heard that, I was like, nah, you know, like I'm not interested in this. Like, in my perception was, you know, the company that that was first that we brought bots to was a company we started called Clever Investor. I co-founded it about 8 years ago with Cody Sperber. And actually I'm sitting in my home office. It's like, we've got these couple awards and like a few more was from that company. And when the marketing department came to me and said, yo, we need a chatbot, I said, no, we don't. You know, like, I don't want a bot. We're a people company. We are awesome at support, and I don't want to ruin that. And it took them like 2 or 3 tries of like, Matt, just look at this. Like, you love marketing automation, just look at it. And it was like, when I finally sat down, I was just like, holy cow. And here's the big takeaway about bots. And I just want everybody to realize that 99% of the chatbots out there, I think, are pretty crappy. And even some of the best marketers in the world at this point have really bad chatbots. And I know because a lot of them are now coming to us to kind of fix that problem. So just recognize if you've, you know, thought about bots or looked at bots and you've kind of like been deterred by the whole thing, don't worry about it, because there's been a lot of hype that's just, don't believe the hype, right? The reality of it is a lot of what you think a bot doesn't really do it as well as you think. And a lot of the benefits that you have no idea, right? You have no idea that your customer retention is going to greatly improve because of a chatbot, right? We make tens of thousands of dollars in sales on a regular basis from manning the live chat from conversations that are started with a bot, All right. So what I said in my introduction presentation that you saw is that don't think of a bot as trying to stop conversations. It's going to get rid of all the conversations you don't want, but it's going to create more of the conversations you do want, which is like, hey, I want to buy something. So it creates that, it facilitates those introduction conversations. So then a human, you know, you or somebody on your team can jump in and have a lot easier of a time making the sale with the right people instead of the tire kickers.
Yeah, I feel like, oh, I'm not gonna have this view. Hey guys, so let me say hi to the people going in. Hey Ray, hey Juan, hey Brian, hey Eric, hey David, hey Sean, hey Jeffrey, hey Greg, hey Jacqueline, hey
Is that like a different part of the world you're talking to over there?
I have 3 screens, so
Exactly, like that's the southern hemisphere and this is the northern hemisphere.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Please smash the heart button. I want the rest of this group to know about this live, and that's how we increase engagement. And also hashtag 21 if you guys are here and listening to this live. And if you have any questions for Matt, let us know in the comments. And I'm going to try to pick some questions and he'll be able to answer them. But the important thing that I got from Matt is when he went on stage, I was like blown away by his presentation. He was very real.
Thank you.
And it gives me hope. What the presentation did was give me hope for the people who are afraid of bots and for the people who can totally enhance their business. It's very important to know that it's not about injecting technology and taking away the human factor. It's about having the right people come in qualified so that when you do and have that conversation, when you do that customer service, it's going to be with the right people. Sure. If you have like a program to serve certain people, because retargeting brings, you know, the internet and Facebook and Google try to bring the right people into your world, into your programs, right? But I feel like with bots, they can do that extra filtering that's needed to eliminate a lot of like, you know, booking time and the things that can just happen automatically, and then bring in more of the right conversations with the right people into your programs. So that's what I got away from it.
Awesome, thank you. And so when we started botbuilders.com, because everything you said is 100% correct. And at this point, we spent about a solid year really just focusing on building awesome bot experiences. And to be honest, I think a big part of it came from ignorance of not understanding how other people built bots.
Yes.
Because when I see most people's chatbots, you know, it's just kind of, and it's not to say it's right or wrong, but it's, you know, like there's a few little experiences, but then ultimately it kind of becomes a glorified email marketer. And me and just kind of my ignorance, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to build something that intelligently knows how to communicate with people, that follows up with, you know, on sales based on interactions. And really, you know, it's like our core at BotBuilder's core is what we call our core bot. And it's the same bot that we've used to rank #1 on Facebook and that we use for ManyChat's bot. And we've got over 500 keywords just in the basic version, not counting all the custom ones that we add on. So it's basically, and if anybody wanted to test out one of our bots, you could go to ManyChat's Facebook page and play with their bot, and you'd kind of see how it works. So we had this sort of ignorance. So we spent this whole year building intelligent bots that, because people always say, does it have AI? And I think people get a little confused about, like, you know, what chatbots do and what AI, you know, because I know I did. And the reality of it is that like, it's not like this sort of like self-learning thing where it's reprogramming itself as it goes. But what it is doing is it's creating these intelligent conversations. So for example, one of the things that we did is most keyword replies. So with a bot at its basic level, a bot's going to communicate with people either if you send a message either via broadcast or autoresponder, which most people know, or the bot itself is going to reply with to a keyword. ultimately, right? And it could be a keyword phrase, it could be a combination of things or whatever that might be. So when we build our bots, like I just really was turned off by the fact that somebody would send a bot a message and the bot would reply back the same way every time. So what we did, and I talk about this in the intro training, is we developed them in such a way where every keyword has at least 27 potential replies. And it all comes down to the contextual conversation, the experience that the person's had, and all this kind of stuff, right? And when I met the CEO, Mikhail Yang of ManyChat, he was just like, when I told him what we were doing, and we don't use any outside things, like we built this in ManyChat just using conditional logic. Like he was just like, wow, we never really even thought about doing this, you know? So it was sort of our ignorance that we stumbled upon this. So we went down that rabbit hole for like a year, and I'm confident that we built really awesome bots. But the whole time I'm sitting back and I'm going, yeah, but it doesn't matter to the average business unless you can use this thing to make money, right? Like that's why people are listening to this. Like they want to create a cool customer experience. They want an awesome bot, but you want to know, it's like, how do we use this thing to improve the formula? And the challenge is that, you know, I've been marketing online for a while, and, you know, it's like, for example, automated webinars. Like we've registered over 1 million people for automated webinars.
Oh, that's so exciting.
It is. It's great. And, you know, a lot of it was just because we got started early. And I talk about that a lot, you know, and we got started before, you know, we built our first automated webinar. And it was like, what's happened is, and it's not to say that you shouldn't get into doing automated webinars, because, you know, like I shared when I taught at Alex's event, it's like you always, anything that is automation, you want to invest into it always, because you're going to get a return back. You know, it's like you do it once, you pay for it once, and you can potentially make money over and over. But the reality of it is we saw our numbers just kind of gradually just doing this. And it's just, you know, Kim, I don't know about you, but I've just registered for so many hundreds of automated webinars, and it's like, you know, it's like anymore, I'm not really taking it serious. I'm not like, you know, it's just like, oh, cool, another page. And our opt-in rates were just declining, you know, and it was, so you take the problem of ad costs that are going up and opt-in rates that are going down. And it's like, you can optimize until the cows come home. And right? Like you just like every day you're like, you know, I mean, we ran hundreds of freaking split tests, and it's just like, you know, it's like there's got to be a breakthrough. And, you know, I love ClickFunnels. I love, you know, we kind of build our own stuff at this point, but I knew there just had to be a better way. So, you know, when we're building these bots, I sat back and I'm just like, you know, how do we prove out that this is a better way to generate leads and turn those leads into money? And I approached Facebook about this because we spend a lot of money on Facebook ads. And I was just like, look, you know, I'm going to crack this code. I think it's very important to you guys to figure out how to crack this code, because if you're listening to this, I get like, if you've either A, spent money on Facebook ads and failed, or B, you're succeeding on Facebook, but it's getting harder every single day. Right?
Yeah. Which one are you guys in, A or B? Are you spending money on Facebook ads and it's failing, or what's B?
Or B, it's like you got it working, but you also know it's a challenge. Like, you know, if you've advertised on Facebook, our cost per click is almost 3 times what it used to be.
Yeah, it has gotten.
And our opt-in rate is a little more than half. So you just do the math on that. Like that's not a really good formula.
Yeah.
Right? So yes, you can still win by having an amazing offer, but you also got to look at at some point there has to be a shift in the model. There has to be a quantum leap. There has to be something that's different. So we had the honor to work with Facebook directly. So we're working with the Facebook Messenger team right now, and I'm not allowed to publicly say the exact stats, but I'm just going to say it's a lot higher in regards to lead generation. And then for our model for automated webinar, even our attendance rate is way higher when we register people with a bot. So it's kind of like this thing where it's like, after marketing for so many years and running into walls, there's finally this quantum breakthrough with chatbots. Now, which I'm not going to say it's easy, and we can talk, you know, I think we've talked a lot so far about theory, and I'm going to get very specific for the rest of this time together. on how do you actually do that. But just know that yes, you should have funnels, and yes, you should do email marketing. But the reality of it is, it's like you're going to constantly be in this mode of playing catch up. Like always trying to okay, cool. Like, how do we make this page a little bit better? Unless at some point you go, okay, cool. I'm going to stop and I'm going to invest a little bit of time and money into something that can quantumly change this whole scenario and the entire equation for conversion.
Yeah, and guys, hashtag live if you're here live. Hey, Bobby. Hey, Satvir. Jade says, I need to do this. I don't know where to start. Okay.
Well, the long story short is, if you want to kind of just get the basic training, go to botbuilders.com is where you start. Because what I'm going to teach you guys and tell you guys, we've got thousands of hours into this. And, and I guess I will say that I have a knack, just my brain works for marketing automation. I'm kind of really weird. I can't find my keys, but I can think schematically of how to automate any process before you finish your sentence.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to tell you, if it's something where you're going to do it on your own, start slow. But if you're looking for that, hey, I just want to get in the game and make this thing happen, and I want the best bot in the world kind of thing, start by going to botbuilders.com. Just watch the basic training, because if nothing else, you're going to kind of get this whole picture of a little bit more, because I'm going to show you step by step, how it works. And then I show you schematics of hey, this is how our bot works compared to a regular bot. But, and thank you for asking that question. But at the end, the short answer is botbuilders.com. Our company is called Bot Builders.
Yeah. Hey, Angelito. Hey guys, if you're here, smash the heart button. I really when Matt told me what he was doing, and I saw on the presentation what is the possibility. I was like, wow, you can gamify, you can schedule, you can do so many things with these bots. Yeah. But at the very basic level, you can edit it too. You can go in and edit certain things if you buy a bot template or you create a bot. So
yeah, and just be careful about the bot templates that you buy, because it's just as a fair warning, because a lot of them are at the end of the day, it's not hard to build a basic bot. It's really not. And a lot of the stuff that's out there is just really junk. And then it's all said and done, so just it's better to start, here's the thing. It all really comes down to your time value of money. But if you can get something that can give you that jump, then all for it. But I just have to give a fair warning that there's kind of a lot of crap out there, to be honest.
Yeah, I know Jade, she is a coach and she does life coaching. And I was in a conference for coaches, Jade. And during that conference, a guy's testimonial really resonated with me. He was before he used to enroll his high-end clients, and he would manually check up on them all the time.
Yeah.
Message them per week, and he felt like that was his duty as a coach at that high-ticket level. But what happened was when he integrated the bot, and the bot was asking for the accountability, it cut his hours throughout that week by 20 hours. Or instead of him working 20 hours, it's down to a few hours because the bot is doing that follow-up.
That was really cool. That I almost choked up when he shared that, actually, which is amazing. So yeah, that is an example of, something that anything is possible with a bot. That in particular, and we call it an add-on. So basically the way that our system works is, it's not you can buy training courses from us, but what we do is we take the same, the bots that we built for these big time companies, and we call it Bot Builders Core. And then you can add on all of these different niches. So if you do e-commerce or real estate or, coaching or whatever. So for example, that coaching template took me weeks to build. And what it does is it will ask every, whatever the goal is, it'll check in with people at whatever, thing that you want it to check in on. And then it will notify you as the coach at whatever threshold you want. So if somebody has 3 bad days in a row and you say, I want to know if they have 3 bad days in a row, send me a message, and then you can go jump and check in. So it's It's a really, really amazing thing, but all of the bots that we build, and here's what I want to stress the most to your people, because the reason that we offer all of our stuff the way that we do is because, I mean, obviously it's like, who has a couple thousand hours to build, you know, a world-class bot? I mean, that's a lot of time. The most important thing to understand is really this, because building bots on your own, it's like you can start simple, but it can be very time consuming. The very most important thing for anybody getting into chatbots is to focus on just one bot flow, right? Which if you're a marketer, you might already know. A flow is the interactive experience. So, you know, unlike an email, which is a static message, right? A bot flow is like a message and then options and then a message, and, you know, and it can kind of go from there. So the most important thing for everybody to understand is to have one flow that's going to make all your money. And I've kind of dubbed the term, and I've actually started to hear it catch on. I call it the money flow. So you got to figure out what your money flow is. So for coaching, for example, in that template add-on, the money flow is when people sign up to get the daily accountability. So it says, hey, cool, I'm your coaching, you know, would you like to get daily accountability? Boom. Now you can send them a daily message. Then it gets their email by giving them a free ebook. And then it books an appointment to hire them as a coach. So that one flow, because I think now marketers all know about sales funnels, and it's kind of this, and Russell Brunson is like, I mean, he's about as awesome as they come. He's amazing. And he really helped people to get this concept of you're one funnel away, which is the truth, you know, like you really are. The same thing goes for bots. You're one bot flow away. So, you know, it's like, if you can have one flow that you just take, you know, and whether it's using one from a company like ours, or you're starting from scratch, and you just, what's the beautiful thing about one of the beautiful things about chatbots is how easy it is to split test. All right. This is, Kim, you haven't played with this yet, but you're going to love it. I know you well enough to know that, like, you love that stuff. So imagine, to run effective split tests, what needs to happen on a website. It's usually kind of like a pain in the butt, and it takes a lot of work, right? Like, literally with a bot, you just click the plus, and then you put randomizer, and then your little box, and then you just split between two boxes, and boom, there's a split test. I mean, you can run a split test in a bot in less than 60 seconds. Literally less than 60 seconds.
Well, this is why I brought you in here, because there's things I have no idea that
you have no idea. So just, no matter who you are, what niche you are, right? The most important thing is like, there's a new way to do this. And I'm very, very adamant on this, like, and this is going to be the core of my talk at ManyChat's Conversations Conference, which, if you haven't signed up for that yet, go. Like, it is amazing. It's not only great content, because it's Neil Patel. Do you guys know who Neil Patel? Yeah. So tomorrow I'm doing a live for ManyChat, and Neil Patel's going after me, which I thought was pretty cool. So, like, Neil Patel's speaking there this year. Like, they just announced that. So it's an amazing content, but if you want to go to something with awesome networking and just a hell of a lot of fun, I think you go to conversationsconference.com, I believe is the domain.
Yeah.
Go to that conference. Like, go. I'm telling you. And when you go, you got to come up and say hi to me too, because I'll be floating around. I'll probably have a booth there. So.
That's so cool. Actually, when I signed into ManyChat today to do the blast, that's the thing that popped up. Like, this is the conference that's happening. So all of ManyChat users. You
have to go, Kim. You don't have a choice.
Okay, yeah, I will go for sure.
You have to go. 100% have to go. Cool. And so what I was getting at is just, you know, recognizing, like, get a bot, take any shortcuts you can, invest in it now, realize that it's really at its infancy. Like, I'm not even kidding. It really is. But then the thing that I'm going to really help people to understand is that it's not to replace email. It's to help email. Like, when somebody comes into our bot, over 80% of people become email addresses. Like imagine having an 80% opt-in rate and you have their messenger contact too. So it's like you're getting 2 for 1, but instead of getting a 25% opt-in rate on a landing page, you're getting an 80% opt-in in your chatbot. So what I'm going to be focusing a lot of energy on at the conference is, and actually, Kim, I kind of let the cat out of the bag. I'm going to create a course, and I offered it to you for free. I don't, since you got started with my primary program, I'm going to be creating this in the next month or two. The whole thing comes down to this, okay? This is what you need to get obsessive about. And this is why a bot can change. If you're watching this or hearing this, this is why a bot can change the game for you. Because in internet marketing, any kind of business, it doesn't matter, right? There's a threshold that's the line between I can pay for advertising and I can't pay for advertising.
Yeah.
Right? I spend money on advertising and I'm losing, or I spend money on advertising and I'm winning, right? Here, you make nothing. Here, you make millions of dollars, right? This is not enough marketers teach you this. Like, this is what you have to become obsessive about, right? Here, broke. Here, potentially wealthy, okay? So the reality of it is that because of rising ad costs, because of opt-in rates on landing pages going down, it's become harder and harder to hit this line, right? So what we're now doing is we're going, okay, so doing it with just email marketing and an opt-in, you know, it's like we started seeing, like, I mean, we spent millions of dollars a year online and we got, you know, smart people working for us. So not like we're idiots, but we saw that all of a sudden we're like slipping below this line and we're like, oh my gosh, freak out. Like that's not good. So what I've developed is really thinking about it. I call it the ATM method, right? Which is automated triple monetization, right? Using monetization to triple your monetization so that you can go from being below the line to above the line. Because, you know, if you think about it, when somebody comes into your bot, I already told you that it's easy to get them to become an email address, right?
Yes.
And then, so that's now 2 ways that you're able to use automation to monetize. And then the third way is through your retargeting list. And I know at this point, retargeting is no big secret, right? But the reality of it is you got to change your perception of your retargeting list and realize that that is now a marketing list, right? You've got your email list, right? Which everybody's always like, oh, you know, how many subscribers am I up to? But not enough people are going, oh, how many retargeting people am I up to, right? That's another list, because you're able to reach those people relatively inexpensively at any time that you want, right? So like take a company like Clever Investor, you know, we have less than 1 million subscribers now because we clean our lists and stuff all the time. But what people don't realize is we have millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people who've interacted with us in some way. So in reality, if it's not just like the 500,000 or whatever people on the email list, then add Messenger and then add all of the people who you're retargeting, because it's not just the fact that you now have, you know, these multiple channels and it's like 1, 2, 3, but it's actually tripling. Like, recognize the fact that when you get one message in one format, right, or you get 3 messages in 3 formats, you're actually way more than 3 times more likely to respond to that when you're getting it in 3 different formats than when you're only getting it in one format. So what we're teaching is not to make a bot in such a way that's going to, you know, eliminate email, replace email, but rather it's going to finally help you grow your email list and grow your retargeting list and triple your automated monetization, so that you can take that line and go from wherever you're at right now and finally get above that line.
Oh man, so good. And you're so eloquent.
Thank you.
Hey Greg, hey Rob, hey Bella, hey Alan, hey Ernest. Ernest, he does like live events and all these things for e-commerce. He has huge
nice.
And hey Ernest, hey Alan. Greg says, in your professional opinion, is ManyChat the only option, or we can choose any high quality bot platform?
Yeah, I think any bot is better. I would definitely not say that they're the only option. Chatfuel is good, and there's a few others. I vetted them really hard. So when I got into bots and I saw it, it was like, I mean, I literally thought I had my passion and sold the business because I was like, this bot thing is like freaking it. I love it. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't sleep, right? So I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be putting all I got into this thing, I have to choose the right platform because you don't want to rebuild later. So really when it came down to it, there's only two that I looked at really, really hard. And the reason I went with ManyChat was, first of all, it was the most powerful, like it had the most ability, but it was also the easiest to use for basic functions because I wanted to build on something that I could help empower other people to use very easily. But when, you know, the day that I actually just kind of basically said, okay, I'm getting out of everything else that I'm doing. I resigned as president of the company I co-founded that was, you know, doing 7 figures a month, was the day that I met Mikhail that I was telling you about, the CEO of ManyChat. It was at Traffic and Conversion Summit. And you can imagine he's like the coolest kid at Traffic and Conversion. I mean, there's like literally crowds of people. And I just was explaining to him, you know, like I said earlier, kind of like ignorantly not knowing how to build a bot the way other people did and using it in new and creative ways. And he's like, you know, Matt, can you show me your bot? And I'm like, so your ManyChat wants to see my bot? Like, yeah, of course, let's go. And he sat there. This is not a joke or trying to act cool. It's really just like to give him credit, because for 2 hours, like we went and found a corner in the bar, and I'm just a dude that's been building a bot for like a month. And like he's sitting there with his notebook and just going, you know, like, and I'm like, dude, what kind of CEO of like a company takes the time to learn from their customers like this? And at that point on, I was just like, you know, and we've been able to, well, obviously we built their chatbot, which was a huge honor, but you know, like they come to us all the time, like, you know, hey, we've got this idea. What do you think of it? Or, you know, test this out. Or, you know, like, I mean, I've spent countless hours working with their entire team, giving them product feedback. And I mean, from everything that I see, they're ahead of the competition. And the reality of it is, it's not just what's there right now. Okay, so I don't want to like say too much, but like, here's where it's going, right? Is that right now, all of us, you know, small businesses, big businesses, you name it, right? We're trying to have this communication and conversational marketing, this new cool thing with our customers. And the reality of it is, it's very fragmented. You know, it's like I got email over here and text over, you know, but it's not like a seamless conversation. So as a lot of people might know, a lot of new bot platforms are opening up that allow for this sort of messenger marketing, communication, automation. You know, like it will be on, you know, WhatsApp very soon, Instagram very soon. But the reality of it is, it's going to be on iMessage. It's going to be all over the place. And I'm hoping to have, you know, to be able to participate in this. It looks like I'm going to get the chance. Imagine having one seamless conversation across all of it: email, text message, everything. And ManyChat's the company that's going to bring that to a reality. They've got the backing, they've got the people, they've got the brains, they've got everything. So, you know, to me, you know, even though these bot things have been around in a while, it's such infancy and it's so new. It's like, if you can build it right the first time, you know, and if you're somebody that you got so much invested to another platform, I'm not trying to dog it, because any bot is a good bot and you're ahead of the game. But, you know, like, let's just say, for example, that, you know, we end up kind of, you know, like take, for example, our program. If you can take something, and I don't know of anything else that's similar, but if you can take something that's already there, you know, that's got thousands of hours, you know, into it and build on that, you know, it might be worth considering whatever platform you're on and kind of looking at ManyChat. But, you know, I don't, anything can work just fine. It just kind of depends on where you want to go and how serious you are about it, and, you know, what your preferences are. But I haven't checked out any other company in over a year. Well, when we worked with Facebook Messenger, there are a few sort of enterprise level chatbot programs that I checked out. So enterprise level, or when you go to a website and there's no pricing, but instead it says book a demo,
Yeah.
and then it costs $10,000 plus $2,000 a month. But I'm just after working pretty closely with the Facebook Messenger team, I don't know of any advantages yet that those expensive programs have over ManyChat, and you can still get started for $10 a month. So it's a no-brainer, and I love the people, and it's so cool. And even if you don't use their program, still go to conversations and still keep ahead of me.
Hey, Azaria. Hey, Anthony. Hey, Glenn. Bella says, excellent point. Retargeting list is so important. Oh, that was a while ago. Simon says, Facebook is not going to let the current bot model continue without monetizing it. Facebook on the latest F8 has stated conversation is their major focus for being more social and engaging. Facebook wants people to move to CB for advertising as news feeds have no more AD capacity, therefore expect Messenger ads to get more expensive. Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, well, no, here's the thing about it. So there's been this little bit of panic in the Messenger marketing community, like, oh, we can't send broadcasts, we can't do whatever. The reality of it is rules have not changed, and I don't even know if they've ever changed. Facebook puts a lot of things. It's not like email. Like, you don't want to be hitting people every day, multiple times a day, with Messenger. You got to follow the rules. They put in a set of rules, which is called 24+1, which says if you're sending promotional messages, that you have a 24-hour window from the time somebody interacts with your bot to send them messages freely, plus one additional message. So long as they interact with your bot in either any of those messages, it can continue on forever. Beyond that, there's the second kind of messaging is called subscription-based messaging, which basically is something you have to apply to Facebook to get, which is those messages are not promotional in nature, all right? Now, of course, there's ways that you can always tie in promotions, and you send out a non-promotional message, they interact with your bot, now you can send a promotional message, but the third kind of message, and who was that had that point? Because they're
Simon.
Who was that? Simon? Cool. So Simon's right, and what they're gonna and this isn't new, it's just that here's the reality is people have been spamming bots because they just don't know any better, and they've been able to get away with it. We learned our lessons a little bit quicker than most. Like when we had one of our chatbots got rated #1 on Facebook, because Facebook, they don't do it like they used to, but for about a year, they would rate the chatbots in each of the categories, and we were rated #1 for almost the entire year. So, we're obviously doing big volume, and they had their eyeballs on us, and we learned the rules early on. So what we did is we actually built our bots, and this is more than I even went into the introduction training I gave you, Kim. We built our bots in such a way that automatically comply with all of the Facebook guidelines. So all of the autoresponders automatically comply, and if somebody's not interacting with your bot for a certain period of time, it'll stop sending messages. So it's all like, it's kind of one of those things that's like, it's now this new problem just because Facebook's finally like saying, hey guys, you got to follow the rules. But the reality of it is if you're doing, we got slapped. The truth be told is like, we're just like Wild West sending out hundreds of thousands of messages a day, and it's just like, they catch on when you're sending, a lot of messages a lot faster than if you're just sending a few hundred here and there. So to me, it's 100% a positive thing. Why? Because we prepared for it, and we build our bots in such a way that work automatically for that. But number two is that they're absolutely right. They want to monetize Messenger. And as Simon mentioned, one of the ways is with Messenger ads. And that's when I said we're working with Facebook Messenger, that's what we're working with them on, is really kind of helping them perfect that, because they're still learning. It's so new that they don't even have it down yet. But then the other kind of messaging that nobody talks about, which is really just an awesome way to advertise, is sponsored messages. So once somebody interacts with your bot in any way, shape, or form, you have the ability to pay to send a broadcast to them at any point in time. And I hate saying the amounts, but just imagine, for example, maybe you could reach 1,000 people for $20 or something like that, right? So imagine the cost per click for an ad like that versus a newsfeed ad, right?
Yeah, very little.
Very little. So the reality of it is what's happening now is Facebook is finally getting rid of the spammers, which is good for people who play by the rules for the long term. And I always welcome. So it's not one of those things that's like, well, everybody else is like, oh gosh, no, I'm like, okay, cool. Thank God you guys can quit abusing the system. People who do it right can now have better results. And what's going to happen is ManyChat, for example, is going to bake those sponsored messages capability into their chatbot so that you have the ability to reach anybody at any time for minimal cost. So you still have free messaging, you can still reach people, you just got to follow the rules. And if, for example, like somebody hasn't interacted with you for a very long time, it's like, who cares if you pay a couple cents to reach them? That's like the cheapest form of marketing in history. So, will prices go up? I imagine so, right? And that's why what you want to do is obviously get in early, right? Get in early and really, because at the end of the day, like I told you, it's like our cost per click on regular Facebook ads is multiplied many times over. Well, guess what? That's in a way, even though it's kind of stinks, in a way that was good for us.
Yes.
Why? Because what happened? Well, all the new people trying to get in and playing catch up to us aren't able to afford to pay for those ads. Mm-hmm. So because we were in early and we've been optimizing, we learned the game and we do, right? Like it doesn't matter. All that matters is that if you can pay more for your ads than your competitors, you win. That's it. So it's like, yes, our Facebook Messenger ads are going to go up. Yes. Cool. Right. Are they going to stop people from spamming? Yes. Those are all good things if you jump on it, if you do it right. Right. If you're a spammer, no good. But if you're ahead of the game, then that's a good thing.
Yeah. Oh, hey guys. Hey Arthur. Hey guys. Thanks for joining us. Smash that heart button if you're here and hashtag 100 and put them in the comments. You guys have been asking really intelligent questions, which I love.
Keep them coming.
And let us know if you have any more questions, because you're here with Matt, and he's at the forefront of bots. And I feel like knowing about bots is already being the forefront of just business and just, I don't know, automation. And it feels like, how lucky are we to be exposed to this now, And especially with my world, I teach my clients and my students how to make income from simple softwares. So I told them that years ago, in 2008, I learned that you can hire someone across the world to make software for you, and then you can charge for the software, like subscription. But I didn't act on it till end of last year. And I feel like, wow, what if I, went in then, Yeah. And it feels like with the bot world, all the more reason to get in, because it's not just about like technology helping you do stuff. It's you learn this whole system on like lower cost of advertising, an easier way to spread your message, lower labor costs, like all these things. And then, the little guys can win. The little guys that know about the bots can get ahead. And it feels...
If you do it right, I mean, it's and this is just, it's one of those things that if you're trying to learn it on your own, it can be, there's a learning curve, so I don't, it's because we're now in that phase. Remember I was talking about the hype cycle, right? Whereas like, everybody's like, yeah, and they got in and they're like, whoa, okay, all right. So I guess, yeah, I don't know how else to say this, but to plug, like if you go to botbuilders.com and sign up for the training, I'll really kind of like, that'll give you some perspective on what a winning bot looks like. Like just don't, number one, don't go into it sort of ignorantly right? Because you can waste time and energy. It's better to almost not, not do it. I mean, find somebody that knows what they're doing ultimately. And not just, and here's another warning that I'm going to give people, because a lot of people are talking about like they're bot, everybody's a bot expert now. It seems like, I mean, it's just so many.
I actually have a lot of friends who have like a whole like 12,000 Facebook group of just bot people, just like all they do is talk about bots. So I actually have a lot of friends who are really advanced with bots, as advanced as I think they get. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Just make sure that you align with somebody who knows how to monetize bots. I think that's a really, really, really important thing. I'm not trying to discourage people from getting into it, but just make sure it's like, okay, cool. We got this chatbot. How do we take this from like where we are to where we want to go? And again, it really just comes down to, if you can save time and energy on the entire bot around it, and then focus on that money flow, focus on the thing that's going to turn people from a bot subscriber into an email subscriber, to an appointment if that's your model, or to a walk-in customer, or to, whatever that is, but just get that flow and just get it down, just nail it. And then make sure that you're tripling your automation, right? And make sure that you got your email marketing going on at the same time as your retargeting. And if you can do that, you can win. Like, this is like, it's cool, like you said, because it gives the little people, like, I mean, I didn't even know anything about chatbots. Like, our bot got rated #1 by Facebook within 2 weeks. And we beat American Express, Bank of America. We beat all, like, they put us in finance. I don't know why, but we beat all of those companies. And I'm just like, how many employees do they have? And it's just me and my buddy Nick on ManyChat, and we smoked them.
That's crazy.
Like, this is the little guy or gal's chance to kind of get in there if you're really smart about it and you figure out how to like make this something that can give you that quantity.
It's amazing. I'm so amazed. I'm really amazed by how you just were able to do that. And they come back to you again and again because you think differently, right? Like, and it makes me feel like, oh, guys, for those of you who don't know, I bought his bot like $14.95 or something to buy the bot. And it's like, when I saw what he showed and what he presented, it felt like a no-brainer, because if he spends weeks on something where he's really in that world, deep in it, and then he can give you a template, it's kind of like, it's not similar to like a funnel that he gives you. It's not like a funnel where you have to go and do a lot of work on top of the funnel to customize it to your own thing. It's
you know what's cool is when you set up your bot, it'll ask you like 7 questions. You fill in those questions, and then it puts it like, I mean, it's way bigger than I even had time to show you, Kim. I mean, it's literally thousands of hours of work. But you just put in like your name once, and it goes to like 23 places all over the bot. So
what?
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it.
I'm excited to see what you do with it. Like, let's get you rocking it.
Yeah, because I have all these softwares, and I have a coaching program, and I have a group coaching thing. So there's so many things I can use with it that I would take my money. Anyways, Simon says, Facebook recently introduced a business page into Messenger, which all ads and promotions went into separate biz and personal messages. Facebook then took it away. Do you see them reintroducing this? And which case people may not even go into the business page, which would make all the ads and promotions worthless, plus subscriber rates would fall. What do you think about this?
So Facebook is a company that serves the people, but is fueled by business, right? So imagine that we got to make the end users happy, but if Facebook doesn't monetize and keep businesses happy, then the whole machine comes grinding to a halt, right? So in the end, I just, there might be right decisions, wrong decisions, who knows? But, having got the opportunity to work with some of the team at Facebook, they're smarter people than I am. They're smart people. They know what they're doing. So they introduced a thing where they took the inbox and put it into 2 sections. And again, this is a thing where everybody goes, oh no, the sky's falling. And I go, oh, okay, cool. First of all, see if it happens. Second of all, it might be a good thing. I mean, it's like, guess what? What that means is the people who do it right will do better, and the people who do it wrong will do worse, right? So it's like, if they did that, which they didn't, I mean, they introduced it for a very short period of time and then it disappeared. But if they decided that that was the best decision, right, then what that means is it's the best long-term play for business, ultimately, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. So, for example, if they have sponsored messages that are going into the business box, if people aren't going to the business box, they wouldn't do it. But if they are going to the business box, they would do it. And what happens when, okay, cool, so every other, little spammer out there right now, which is like, if you guys sign up for bots, it's just like very like, it's a lot of noise, it's a lot of crap, right? Like, I would welcome it, because the way that we design our chatbots is in such a way that it's like people want to get what we're giving them, and it gives it, and it's all a customized experience in such a way that they appreciate that stuff. So if it ends up being that it's like there's less noise and there's 2 inboxes, like, it's going to work out okay. Like, who knows? Like, it doesn't, here's the thing about it is we have no idea what the future of this thing's going to be. Like, 0. And, like, I look at it and go, all right, so let's just pretend in 5 years, bots, it's less about bots, it's more about Messenger as a platform and the automation that consists within it. But let's just say 5 years that Messenger wasn't the thing. Well, the reality of it is like, it just, you're either on the edge, kind of like pushing forward and like, going with what's new, or you're just kind of in this realm of just catch up, like catch up. And so like ManyChat, for example, like they are dialing in, how do we create this uniform conversation with people? So in the end, like the ability to be able to reach your customers through multiple formats through unified conversation is infinitely more important than the specifics of one of the channels and how that works. So Simon's super smart. But Simon, I would, and I know it's like every time that this ever happens, I always have this response. Everybody has one response, and then I always have the complete opposite response, which is, okay, cool, I'm sure it's going to be a good thing. And if we do it right, it'll work out. And then every single time it's just like, okay, that ultimately is kind of what it is, because Facebook's not against you, they're for you. Like, they want you to win. And I know sometimes it doesn't feel like that. And I know it's, you might say, okay, Matt, well, maybe because you guys, spend a lot of money on advertising, you got this relationship. Like, but it's like, I've been there. Like, like right now, our business is a startup. So it's like our ad account is just like everybody else's. They just really work hard to keep it a good experience for everybody. And as long as they're keeping it a good experience for everybody, that means that the platform is going to be there and going to be viable and going to be growing for a very long time. So there might be some times where it's like you feel like you don't like the adjustment or whatever, and they might be right and they might be wrong, but those kind of things are happening for longevity. And if you can position yourself in the right place at the right time, then the little things aren't going to matter as much as that you have this advantage when everybody else is like stumbling because they didn't do it right, or they give up, or they just, like, you're there in your position. So, it's, I would not be too concerned with it, frankly. And I think it's going to be a good thing. And when you focus on multiplying your automation, like, it's almost like the more expensive it gets, the better it is, the more difficult it is for everybody else, the better it is. So just do the things that matter the most, focus on driving those leads and growing your business, and it's going to work out. It really will.
Love it. I love it. I love hearing you talk. You're so eloquent. You bring all these ideas together so well. And
thank you, Kim.
hey, Heather, guys, we have 3 minutes and we're going to wrap it up. So if you have any last minute questions, let us know. Heather says, hi, Matthew, and I feel like I know your answer. She's
Hi.
like, this is great info. I don't use a bot yet. Seems difficult to set up. Advanced communications. Is it? Question mark.
What would you tell them to do, Kim? What's your answer?
Go to his website.
Go to botbuilders.com. Yeah, I mean,
Botbuilders.com.
yeah, even if we don't end up working together, I think that when you go through that training, it takes it from a very like, okay, here's where you are, here's where you need to go, this is what matters most, here's the basics, here's how it gets advanced. And really, I designed it in such a way that's like, step one, do I want to do this? Do I want to do messenger marketing? And then step two is if we can help you to do it, then, then we go from there. But, really just start from there and just know that it's like, either way, like whether you dive in, like, I just feel like this is one of those things you either like do or don't do. And if you're going to do it, freaking do it. Right. And if you're not going to do it, that's okay. You know what I mean? Like there'll be something else in, 5 years or 10 years or whatever that's going to change marketing, but there just hasn't been something in so long. It's like, how long have we been talking about squeeze pages and like email marketing and then, oh, cool, text messages, like, I mean, it's just been the same story for such a long time. And this is something new that doesn't replace that, but it makes that better. If you struggled with it, you finally have a way to get in the game and get some results in on a playing field where it's like, like somebody can pretend like the same bot that we've used to build, and ManyChat paid us really, really good money to build the bot for ManyChat. Somebody could start with that and then bolt on all of our extra add-ons that we let you try out for free and have a world-class bot that can compete with any that are out there like instantly. So just, it's I don't think that an opportunity like this comes around very often. And that's why, I like my passion was board games and just bringing people together around the table. And I still love it. I still play it, but like I bought boardgames.com. Right. And it's funny because I still need to change my Facebook profile. It still says boardgames.com. And I sold out of it because it was like, I was like, board games will be there, right? It'll be there. But this is something that's like really, really special. And I can help people, not just, my passion, but I can help people with whatever their passion is. Because it's not just businesses. If you've got a cause, a nonprofit, if you want to run for office, like literally a bot, it doesn't matter if you're a local business, an online business, a chatbot, a good chatbot can help anybody to generate more people, to get more followers, to get more people into your world and more effectively communicate with them through multi-channel marketing. And I just, I love seeing every day the change that these things are making in the world. And it's just it was such a good reminder to me when I was so closed off to something, like thinking that something was this like cold thing, this like, this robot that's like trying to like replace people and take jobs and like come to this realization that when it's done right, it's so the complete opposite, right? Like Jonah, when Jonah shared his story, all right, he's one of our clients at Bot Builders. He shared his story and he's a love expert. He teaches people how to find love. And he has a chatbot that's helping facilitate these real world interactions and helping people find real human connection where they had struggled before. So it's just this really like, it's a game-changing, concept that really can open up a lot of doors. And I shared this at the last Conversations conference. I was like, you got to think about this like it's a new channel. Like, yes, it works online, right? It works on web pages. It works with email, works with all this kind of stuff. But it's really like a new channel. And it reminded me of like when the internet was new. Because people are like, man, these bots are kind of stupid. I'm like, yeah, but were you around? And Kim, I'm older than you, but it's like, were you around when the internet started? Like, did you see how bad some of these websites were? I mean, it was like, like it was really bad. Like it was just like,
Comic Sans font, probably.
yeah. It just, so it's like, it's that new realm. And what I shared is I was like, there's going to be a bot for just about every function that you can imagine that's going to make somebody wealthy. And I use the example of there's a website that has cat memes. It's called I Can Has Cheeseburgers. You ever heard of that? I Can Has Cheeseburgers.com. I can't even, and it's even spelled weird. Like, you know, and it's just like, here's a website that sold for millions of dollars that literally served up cat memes. And I'm standing up there and I'm like, you guys, somebody will build a cat meme bot. And I still haven't seen it. Somebody will build a cat meme bot and make $1 million a year in advertising revenue. Like, it's that new platform where it doesn't matter what you're doing. You can become the leader in it if you dive all in and go after it. So obviously I'm a big proponent of it, and I never really thought I'd get excited about, you know, something like chatbots, but you know, it's not about the bots, right? It's about the difference that it can make. And I just know how many people out there, because I struggled for years and years and years to get, it took me years to make my first dollar online, like years. And I know I'm not abnormal. I know a lot of other people are like that too. So I think for somebody who's out there who has a bot, I think they already know that, like, or has a business that's making money, right? Mm-hmm. Then this is a no-brainer. Like, if you have a business that's making money and you have the opportunity to improve your customer support, increase your marketing and lead generation, and make more sales, then you'd be crazy not to do it, right? But for those people who are just kind of trying to get going, who've tried a lot of stuff, who haven't really been there, you know, like to have something where it's like, okay, cool, like this can be my thing, you know? And even if, because one of the things we do is we teach people how to potentially sell bots as their business. That's kind of like a part of the core, because I do believe that every single business will have a chatbot. And just because a business has a chatbot right now doesn't mean they won't replace it, right? We're not, like, we take on very few projects. We're not building bots for the first time. We're building bots because people are like, MiniChat had a bot, right? It just wasn't what it could be.
Yeah.
So it's just knowing that the vast majority of businesses still don't have one. It's a major opportunity. And even those that do need a good one that's effective, that knows how to work. So if you're somebody that's just like kind of sitting there like, and you know you want to do the entrepreneur thing, you want to go, you maybe don't know what your niche is, like bots is cool because it gives you a chance to make, bots could be your thing, but you could get into bots and realize, okay, cool, maybe this is my thing, or this is the passion that I've had. Now I have a channel to go and get it in a unique way. I'm not just one in many doing the exact same thing as everybody else, but I have something unique, something cool, a hook, something to drive people into that allows me to multiply my automation and really turn something, like go from nothing to something in as short a path as possible.
Yeah. And sometimes for me, because I have an onboarding bot for my softwares, I don't even think that probably saved me so much time and helped out with so much ease in onboarding people, that I'm like, wait a minute, what about the coaching programs that are $30,000? Do they have anything in place? And then the answer is no, like no. So if all these high level, high chart, like they're getting a lot of money and they're not utilizing it yet, and it's out there, these people could even be your clients. You know, they like all these things. When I look into their systems and I'm like, what's going on here? Do you have a bot? Like, can it be easier for you? They're like, no, we're sending out emails. You know, sometimes people fill out the forms, other times people don't. It's hard to keep them accountable. And then along come, you know, you, and it kind of like gave me this realization that's, wow, you are really ahead. And ahead with technology that isn't so complicated, because you're creating it's not, maybe it is really complicated. I have no idea. But,
well, I mean, the way that we do it is, but the thing is we give it to people in such a way where it's not complicated for them.
Yeah.
You know? Like I showed you, like, you know, with our program, it's not just like educational courses. It's, you know, what we like to think is the best bot in the world. And it's like, here's 10 tutorials. Just go fill in this box. So there's nothing technical about it from, you know, from the perspective of our program. But they, you know, and it's simple in its functionality. You know, like I always say, like, what makes our stuff better than everybody else's? I don't want to say better than everybody else's. That's what makes our bots good is that it's just really conditional logic is really what it is. You know, like I said, most bots have one response for a keyword, ours have 27, right? There's no code that happens there. All it is just the bot going intelligently going, okay, is this person currently in a conversation with the bot? Yes or no? Okay, has this person been in communication with their customer support department? Yes or no? Okay, has this person already been replied back to once with this particular thing? Yes or no? And it's just all this series of just yes or no. So there really is nothing that's complicated. You're 100% right. It's simple. But as you know, Kim, there's a major difference between simple and easy. So I always want to make sure that people just kind of understand that, like, nobody's going to tell you that this is going to be easy. But if you can figure out a way to shortcut and just make it as simple as possible, then it's worthwhile.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, we are over our time. Hey, Chad Koderi. Chad owns, he actually does software for agencies, and he owns a 7-figure business with his technology, with his software that serves agencies, and it white labels all the agency things so that you can be an agent one day.
Email support@botbuilders.com, because this is a perfect add-on for what you're already selling. So rather than having to like figure out how to, build bots and sell bots and all that kind of stuff, you can bolt on our programs onto your programs. And hopefully this will end up being a very, very valuable podcast for you to join. Love to talk to you. Yeah,
Chad, reach out to Matt. Okay. Guys, we are at the end of it. I see more questions, but I'm sorry.
If you got to go, that's fine. I can probably give about 5 more minutes if you want, but if you got to go, I get it.
Oh, no, I can do 5 more minutes.
Okay, 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes.
Okay, so Simon says, what do you think of these CV, which have lots of emojis and GIFs for personality? Chatbot copywriting is lacking. What do you think?
I think you're right. I never thought I would use emojis. I use emojis, but I think they're annoying if you use them too much. Chatbot copywriting, it's funny because I think it's half of the game. It's conversational marketing. So one of the things that, Kim, you now have access to is, like if I had to start over, if I, needed to make money fast or whatever, I would write copy. Like it's the only thing I know that's just like, if I needed to make 10 grand in a day, I could do it, just because I've spent years working on copy. So I 100% do agree that it's lacking. It's something that I teach, and very thoroughly within the members area, so I won't go too much into it. But the key is just, and you already know this, I'm sure, Simon, since you're asking this question, is just really bite-sized chunks and timing. Timing with a chatbot is everything. So one of the things that really holds people up a lot with timing, and this is kind of just a little specific tip, is so in a bot, there's basically 2 kinds of weights that you can have, right? So imagine a 1-sentence message comes up, right? You always want to give your readers time to read that message almost to the end, and then you want to have the little writing thing come up. So like imagine there's 2 kinds of pauses. One is a waiting pause, meaning they're reading and nothing's happening. The second kind is a typing pause, meaning that those little dots that show that the person is typing come up, right? So the key is how it's not just what you write, right? Because you got to be like, less is more. You want to be very super high impact, obviously humor, all the things that normally matter in copywriting. But you got to time them in such a way that if somebody's reading, right as they almost get done, the typing thing starts, so that it's literally like as they get done, the next copy's up. And so you're basically just like, especially with humor. I mean, it's so much about hitting the punchline at the right time. Like one of the things our bots do is they tell jokes. Like they've got like a bank of like 50-some jokes that they tell. So just really nail it with the timing and go through it a couple times. And then kind of an advanced tip is that GIFs are really powerful in bots. If you played with a bot, then you've seen GIFs. They come up all the time. It's also the thing that people screw up the most in regards to timing. So the thing with a GIF is, first of all, is realizing, and it's not a perfect science because every device is different, so you can't make it perfect, right? But realizing that with a GIF, it takes a couple seconds to load. So what you want to do is whenever you have a GIF, you always want to make the text that comes before it be a little bit longer text, right? So instead of one sentence, maybe you have 2 sentences in the box before a GIF. So that way, as it's loading, they're getting done reading, then the GIF pops up, right? So to make up for the load time of the GIF, you want to have more text in the box right before it. To take that tip one step further, the thing about a GIF is that they take a second to load, and oftentimes they can make the other stuff that is in that messaging box, like depending on the platform that you use, take time to load. So when you're building out your bot flows, ultimately they're just a series of boxes and arrows. Separate your GIF into a separate box. So that way it's not holding anything else up from loading, right? So what you want to do is you want to have boom, 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 message that's got a little bit more text, arrow to a separate box with a GIF. So they get done reading, the GIF pops up, and then always time your GIF in such a way where the punchline of it is perfectly timed with the timing below it, right? So some GIFs you want to like, you got to give people, you know, like a couple seconds till they get it, right? So you leave a couple seconds delay. Some you just need like a second or two. So just be aware of that. And then another tip in regards to GIFs, we're kind of going deep here, because this will drive you crazy when you're a new bot builder, is that when you're testing your bot, what happens is the first time that you download a GIF, it goes, or you're going through a bot flow, it'll go slow. But then the second time it'll go super fast because it's already been maybe uploaded. I don't know the proper term. It's already been uploaded to your computer. So just be aware that the second time you go through or a user goes through, there's no way around it. It's just going to go super fast, and it creates this very like, whoa, you know. So just be aware of that, because otherwise you're going to be adjusting your timing in such a way. So the first time you go through a flow, the GIF takes a while to load, but the second time you go through a flow, you'll be reading, and then the GIF pops right up because it's already uploaded once.
Oh yeah, I have that problem with the same user going through my onboarding bot more than once, and it's just like, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how to fix that. I don't know what to do, but oh well, they got it.
It all depends on how fancy you want to get. So, do you want me to tell you how you technically get around it if you're this serious?
Yes.
Okay. This will just help be an insight into advanced logic if you want to create great bot experiences. Mm-hmm. A lot of this stuff don't pay attention to if you're building from scratch. Focus on generating leads and making money with your bot. But the way that you would get around that, we use it's a very basic technique that we call versioning. So imagine somebody goes through a flow, and they go through a flow the first time. It'll say have they, or say a part of a flow, right? It'll say, have they seen the Donald Duck GIF, right? And if the answer is no, it'll serve up the Donald Duck GIF and keep going, right? With no delay. It'll take time to load, whatever. But then after that Donald Duck GIF loads, you can add a tag that said saw Donald Duck GIF, right?
Yeah.
So then imagine they come back through a second time in the same flow, right? And it says, have they seen, it comes to that condition, the yes or no, right? Conditional logic. And it says, have they seen Donald Duck GIF? If the answer is no, show it to them as normal. If the answer is yes, send them to a version of the Donald Duck GIF that has a 2-second waiting delay and a 2-second typing delay, then the GIF.
Okay.
Right?
Because the second time it'll just like go fast if you don't delay.
Exactly. So that is like, we're getting super specific and obscure here in bot building. But that concept of versioning, right? So like when people come into our bot flows, we actually have conversational experiences. So when you come back to a bot builder's bot flow for the second time, it's not the same conversation. You know, it's like, hey, Kim, hey, cool, good to see you again, because we've tagged them as having seen that flow. Yeah. And then we take it to the next level, which is like, would you like to pick up where you left off, for example? So, yeah.
I don't know what business out there that does, you know, like the type of agency, bot agency, even though you're not taking on clients, you're even delivering, you do sell, I bought your bot, right? It makes it feel like I'm being taken care of, because you know how to take care of me as I go through the process.
Totally. Yeah. Like, so for example, Mini Chatbot, and they have like millions of subscribers. So when we built that, it was, what I learned was that, you know, their company structure for support is they didn't support messenger messages because, you know, it just depends on the company. Like, you know, our company, we make a lot of money from live chat because it's interactive and we have high ticket sales and all that stuff. But but for mini chat, they're like, yeah, we don't really want to deal with, like, we have all these other channels. We have a ticket system is where we want people. So the first time that somebody would click on the support flow, which they could get to in all these different ways, it would basically educate people on how ManyChat offers support. And it would be like, hey, since it's your first time, there's 3 ways that you can get support from ManyChat. You can go to our ticket system, or you can go to our knowledge base and help yourself. You can go to the ticket system and get support, or you can go to the community and get help from the community, right? And then say the next time you come back, we'll go straight into the menu. What would you like to do? So it would only explain that the first time they came into the support flow. Right? So there'd be a conditional, like it'd be a conditional logic would say, have they seen the support flow? If no, give them the explanation of how support works. If yes, then just go straight to the support menu and say, what would you like to do? Would you like to go to the knowledge base, community, or submit a ticket?
Oh, wow. That tells me that customer satisfaction is dependent so much on expectations, and
yes,
and manage their expectations in an easy way without having people individually walking others through it.
So we found that it was like such a low percentage. It was like ended up being like 10% of people that ended up even needing to submit a ticket the way we designed the flow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just blown away all the time. I'm like, whoa. Oh man,
but guys, this is like, again, very obsessive level stuff. It's just taking these concepts and applying them to the flows, the bot flows that matter the most, right? Like, don't spend hours and hours and hours building out a customer service experience if you don't have customers.
Yes.
Right? Focus on the things that matter most, and if you can take a massive shortcut, do it.
And is the bot that I bought, does it help with like people through programs like group coaching or?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Actually, that thing that I was explaining a little bit earlier in regards to getting people subscribed for the accountability, getting their email address, getting them booked for an appointment to buy at a high level. And you can customize, it's like literally you just hit download and then it asks you 4 questions and then it's done. Like, that's it. Like, totally, that's it. Like, what are you helping people do? How often when do you want to be notified? Like, so for example, there's 3, like in this particular thing, this is, you know, probably not pertinent for everybody, but we built the bot in such a way that you, as the, you know, the bot builder, thank you again, Kim, for being a part of our company, is that you just answer these questions of like, when do you want to be notified if people have so many positive days, so many negative days? Because it doesn't matter what you're helping people do, right? Is it like good or bad, right? I smoked, I didn't smoke. I exercised, I didn't exercise, right? Or I don't answer. So when you set it up, you're going to see that it'll say, when do you want to be notified on good, bad, and no answer. So if somebody doesn't answer for 3 days in a row, you can have it send you an email or send you a messenger message or both, right? And just say, hey, Peter over here is been slacking. He hasn't replied in 3 days. Or, hey, reach out to Jane. She's had 5 good days in a row. You might want to send her a personal message.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That closed the deal for me. Another thing that I thought of, because the way that you deal with accountability is the way I see some websites deal with it, with their own CRM system, and they have like progress bars. It feels like, is there I'm beginning to think the possibilities, like
so when you get in there, there's a flow, so there's like, you know, there's a million use cases of this, right? So like, and we built this for, you know, a lot of the bot, including mini chats, was imagine that it's like you've got like, whether it's a course or you've got like testimonials that you want to put people through, or blog entries, or, you know, whatever video content, like you name it, right? So we build a flow that's all, when you look at it, it's like, whoa, that's a lot of logic, but at the end of the day, it's just, you just go in and fill in content into this, fill in content into this, fill in content into this. And what it does is it comes in and it greets them, right? And it's either like, hey, let's get started, or let's pick up where you left off. And then it'll allow them to either, would you like to start from scratch or pick up where you left off? And then it'll just shoot them. If they're at step 6, it'll just take them right to step 6. So like literally you don't have to build any of that. You can just go in and drop in your content, whether it's videos or links.
Oh my gosh, I'm doing it.
It's already done for you. Yeah.
Classes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Hey guys, so we will wrap it up for today. I will, so for you, Matt, what I'm gonna do is click end live video right now. Is there any last, where can they find you? I know you've said it many times.
Go to botbuilders.com.
But for you guys, for my audience, I'm also going to include a special link where I'm going to, it's just my special link. If you grab what Matt has to offer, I'm going to include my own bonuses, which are some of my softwares, and I'm gonna include that in the description. So I know some of you guys, if you're on the fence to get my softwares and you're like, oh, that would be really useful, this will, you're getting his stuff, but you'll get my own bonuses.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
Yep.
Okay,
all right,
cool.
So, all right, bot builders, I'm going to click end video. Bye, guys. Bye.
Yeah, great questions. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. If you liked that video, then you will love all the resources that I have over at kimcdang.com. That is KIMCDANG.com. There you will find all my courses, my extensions, all the offers that I have, as well as a lot of free resources if you are just getting started.